Okay, we are going to learn about jQuery. What is jQuery? jQuery is one of many available libraries that provide functions for manipulating the web page. We call manipulating because in some cases we need to modify either the data or the page, and it shows a fair good performance, and it helps to keep your JavaScript code clean and directly help to protect security. So if you can understand the jQuery, yeah, somehow it can help you in the security. And those are the benefits of using such a library. But the downside is that you have an extra dependency and then need to learn a new library. Because yeah, it is a new library. Yeah, you need to understand how to do with this one. So jQuery is a cross-platform, and it is to simplify, designed to simplify the client-side scripting of HTML. If you have the script for the client side, then jQuery can be the simplified version, the simplified version. So it is a kind of new programming style that use selector engine. So we will learn what is selector engine. It is to enable DOM element selection. DOM, we know it is the data object model. So whenever we know what is the element that we want to select, yeah, there will be a selector engine. And it enables the DOM selection, and it enables the DOM traversal and manipulation. So some features of the jQuery, there will be the DOM element selections, and there are some multiple DOM manipulation based on the CSS. If we know the CSS, it is the style sheet. So the style sheet, there will be elements of name and attributes, and there will be events, and there can be also effects and animations. We can use AJAX also in the jQuery, and it defers and promise objects to control the asynchronous processing. In jQuery, we can use the JSON parsing, and there are many plugins. There are many other plugins that is extended from the jQuery. So if you understand jQuery, it will be a benefit as well. And there are also some utilities such as feature detection. If you are going to run some kind of machine learning, so with the jQuery, you can also get some feature from the web, and then you can do some like machine learning in JavaScript. The compatibility methods that are natively available in modern web browsers, because nowadays there are many better web browsers like Google Chrome and some other privacy issue browsers. They are very compatible with the jQuery. And it is a multi-browser support. You can use Internet Explorer, you can use Google Chrome, you can use Mozilla, you can use Opera, and etc. with the jQuery. Yeah, we can have two ways to use the jQuery. We can download. So, last time I explained this one, I guess. We can download the jQuery, and yeah, let's say if you have a very low internet connection, it's better to download the jQuery library from the jQuery.com and then use it into your computer so that you can use the jQuery offline. Or you can use the jQuery with the CDN. So this is the CDN. Instead of using this one, Google or Microsoft, they also provide the jQuery. So you can use also the CDN from Google, you can use the CDN from Microsoft, and etc. If you are going to download the jQuery, you can download a copy of the jQuery JS file and store it on your hard drive. And in this case, if we have the jQuery, we can put it into the, for example, here, I have the JS. So I can put the jQuery file into the static jQuery, the JavaScript folder. So the jQuery will be available here. And every time if you want to load the file, you can refer to this folder. And we can access the jQuery function via the $object. Okay. We will check what is the meaning by $. Okay. So tips, place the download file in the same directory as the pages where you wish to use it. So in the case of the Django, it is better to locate the jQuery into the JS folder. If you do not want to download, if you want to host the jQuery by yourself, then you can include it from the CDN or the content delivery network. Both Google and Microsoft, they host the jQuery because there are many API provided by Google and Microsoft. So they provide this kind of jQuery for your convenience. For example, this is the AJAX Google API, and this is the AJAX ASP.NET CDN. It is from Microsoft. And you can put this script in the head section. You can put this script into the head section, and you can use the jQuery. Now, the jQuery syntax, I will just give you a very brief explanation about the jQuery syntax. The jQuery syntax is a tailor-made for selecting HTML element and performing some action on the elements. So there are two. Okay. The first is select, and the other is action. If we use $, it means we are going to select. So this is the basic syntax. I want to select what is the selector. It can be like this one, $blank. So it means, we need to see, we need to write something in this blank, in the parentheses. Let's say I want to access the div. Okay, then you can put the $ and div. I want to access the ID. Then you can put the $sign and then make the sharp and then call what is the ID. A $sign is to define or access the jQuery, and then a selector to query or find the HTML elements. And after the selector, we can put dot action. So what are the actions? The jQuery actions to be performed on the elements. So for example, I put the $sign and then this. So this refer to the object. Let's say this is a kind of form. And I want to hide. So I can put dot hide, then it will hide the current element. If I want to hide the paragraph, so I can write $ and then make the P as the tag here. And then what action that I will do? I will like to hide. So I will hide all the P elements. If I have like this one, $.test.hide. Then I will hide all the elements with the class equal to test. So the test. So it means I want to check what are the classes. The dot means the class name. If I have the dollar with the sharp symbol test dot hide, so I will hide the elements with ID equals to test. So the difference is only this is the class and this is the ID. Yeah, if you want to learn more, there are some guideline. You can use this API.jQuery category events. So what are the events? You can see you can connect bind together one element with other elements. You can click, double click, delegate, and so on. Okay, so there are so many events that you can use. So mouse down, mouse enter, mouse leave, mouse move, mouse out, mouse over. So there are many specific events that has been defined in the jQuery. So this is also another example if you want to look at. If you look at on the code, you are using the jQuery. How the jQuery works. So the first in the JavaScript that I shared to you, we want to have this $sign. The $sign means I want to access the document. The document is in the HTML file. And then once it is ready, I would like to run a function. What is the function? This is the function. The function is inside the curly bracket. So if the element, what is the shape here? It is the ID. So if the ID result, if not null, then let's read it. So if you look at the code again, we are looking at this result. We have ID equals to result. And I would like to know if the result is empty or not. It is not empty because there are some data available from our in this case we are using the JSON. So if it is not empty, it is not null, then I will run the read. And then what is read? Again, you can see the $sign. So this $sign means this is the jQuery. I would like to run $.ajax. So it is the asynchronous Java script. And then I will put all the possible function. Let's say this is URL read. So I'm going to access the read. I'm going to access the read to see what are the data elements. And then post. So it is depending about the operation you want to do. So if you want to, there are two kind of type. You can use get, you can use post. I skipped the explanation of get because nowadays almost no system will use get. Most of them will use post, except only some of the searching company like Google, they still using post. You're still using get. But mostly of the website, they will not use get. because of the security issue. So I will just focus on post. And then this asynchronous false. So we will see what is the meaning. And then we have the data. Okay. So the data here, we are going to check the token in the Django. The token in the Django is the CSRF middleware token. And we are going to get the value. So the CSRF middleware token will be matched. So I want to know what is the value in the Django. And then let's put it into this web by looking at the element. So if everything is okay with this data from the Django, then it will go to success. So if it is success, then it will run the response. We will put all the data into the result. So in the result, it will show the response in terms of the HTML. So if the statement is correct, the response will be shown in the sharp result section. Setting async to false means the statement you are calling has to complete before the next statement in your function can be called. So if you set the async equals to true, then the statement will begin its execution, and the next statement will be called regardless of whether the async statement has completed yet or not. So it depends on your requirement. Let's say if you are having a very big data and you need more time, maybe you can put the async equals to true. So you don't need to wait. If you want to wait for the data to be loaded, then you can set false. Until all the data loaded, then you can see all your pages. Now, we are going to make the CRUD. We already create the R. Okay? R means the read function. Now let's have the create function. Last time we have the views underbar CRUD.py for the read. Now let's make a new function which is create. And in this create, I would like to make two data. The first data, I took it from the post. So the first data will be the title, and the second data will be the content. The request, it is based on what you will get from the user in the web. After I got those data, I would like to save. And it is dealing with the file index.html. Okay. So I will copy and paste this one. Views CRUD. Okay. So I will put the create function below the read function. When you are reading, you are going to check all the data. Okay. So post.objects.all. You still remember? It is the query in the SQLite. And you want to get all data that you have. If you are doing with the create, so you are going to make a new data. So the data will be only two, in this case title and content. After we have the view, let's put additional URLs. In this case, I would like to make a pet create URL as CRUD. So I will make a new head, this one. So when I access the link create, I will run the fuse underbar CRUD dot create. So this is the function name create. Now, instead of the HTML, I would like to make it in the JavaScript, because in this section we are going to learn about the AJAX in the CRUD section. So create a new AJAX in the JavaScript and put the code below in the create section of the script underbar CRUD.js. Okay, I will copy this one, and then you can go to script underbar CRUD.js. Okay, so we have this file. You can open this. In this section, I already separate. First, it is about the create, and then it is about edit, and then update, and then delete. You can make one more line and then paste your code here. Okay. So now let's see how it works on the web. I will run. So I'm using the CRUD. You can see this one, Django simple CRUD with AJAX. And let me make a new title for post, for example, and the content is information world, for example. Okay, I will click create. Now it will be added into this slide. Of course, there is no like and dislike. We have no information at this moment. If you want to put more information, yeah, you can have two more text. So whenever you create, there will be the message that you need to input also the like and the number of dislikes. So let's see what is this code. So if I press the create, what is create here? The create is located in this ID. Okay. So I already make an ID about create. So when I define in the jQuery, they are going to access this create. How the jQuery access? We use the $sign. This is the selection or the selector. And I would like to select create. And if I click this one, okay, when I click the mouse, then do the function. What is the function? This is the function. Okay, so this is the function. Now you will see variable value. If you are in the JavaScript, the common JavaScript, you can just define your variable with the word var. For example, var a equals to 5. Then you want to make a definition of a variable a. A is a new variable, and I would like to assign a value 5. Now I have the same thing in this AJAX. I would like to have a new variable. The name is title, and I put a dollar. So later on, if I want to access this document, or if I want to access the variable, then it will be here. So I have the title, dollar title equals to the dollar, the index title, and then I would like to check the value. What is this ID title? It is located in the HTML file. The ID title, it is here. So I want to get the value when you input into the text. And which text you want to get, the text you want to get is in the ID. And this is the ID title. This is the ID title. What about the content? So you need to check the content ID. Okay? So this is the ID equals to content. Then every input that you use in this text box, you will put it into this variable content with the dollar sign. If you want to check if the title is blank or the content is blank. So if the one of them is blank, of course, yeah, we can proceed to the next. Please complete the required field. If everything is correct, now we are repeating again the AJAX code. In the AJAX code, I would like to go to create. What is create here? Here, it is the link that will execute this create function. So this create function will get two data, which is the title and the content. And then this type is post, because we cannot see the details of the data. And the data will be something like this. So there are three kinds of data. The first is the title, and next is the content, and it will be the connection to the server. So it will understand whether the server has the same key with the client or not. So the title will be the dollar title, the content will be the dollar content, and the CSRF middleware token, it will be the same with the input name CSRF middleware token dot value. So it is already allocated in jQuery. If everything is okay, so if it is success, then let's read. Read means I want to again, maybe we can say this is refresh, and then put the title as blank. Val means value. Let's put it as blank, and then the content is also blank. Then after you finish, you can stop. The remaining of it is like this one. Okay. So you can try to create a new post, whether it works or not. As I mentioned to you, it used the jQuery. So the dollar sign is the selection. After I select that one, I would like to do the operation on the shape title, and then the value I want to extract. Okay, so I explained everything before. Now we want to do more. We know that the CRUD stands for C, which is create, R, which is read, and U, update. In this create, in this edit and update functions, I would like to have two functions, edit and update. You can combine, but I prefer to separate this one. So in the edit, we are using the post and objects.get ID equals to ID. Do you know what does it mean? We have our ID in the database, and we also have ID. We have ID inside. If you are using the SQLite, then there is an ID inside the SQLite. So this is the column name, and then this is the value or the information that you are going to get. In this case, we know that we assume one data will be edited one. Okay. So there cannot be multiple data, so only one data. So we can just use get. And then the context that we want to deliver to the HTML is the post itself, which is the data. And we are going to render the p_bar edit. For the update, we can also have the other ID, and then the post, it will be equals to the ID from the given value here. And the title will be request post title, and the content will be request post content. So every of the information will be again saved into the object, and then it will redirect to index. Do you know what is index? Index. So index means you are going to the first part. You are not going to read, you are not going to create, but just leave it blank. Okay, so this is about the view. You can copy and paste. I have those functions already, and I will go to the link. So I will copy those two lines. I will make two different links. The first link is to edit. When I want to edit an ID, so I will just give one slash and then what is the relevant ID. If I know this relevant ID, then I will just check the ID given by the jQuery or the JavaScript. So I know the ID, then I would like to update the title with the current title, the content with the current content. The other link is about the update section. In the edit, I would like to edit only particular ID, but it is to check whether the ID is okay or not. And then if you want to update, then you will update the information of, in this case, is the post. Okay? So name will be edit, it will connect to the edit function, and the name will be update, it will connect to the update function. Now, I would like to create a new HTML file. This one will be the p_bar edit. So under the CRUD, we have a new HTML p_bar edit. So I will copy the code from the PowerPoint and then I will paste here. So in this case, I would like to extend from the page, which is the front page, okay, and then the block body is the block. So I would like to know the ID. It will be hidden. So you don't need to know the ID. If you are logged in, for example, then you can figure out. And then we have the title, we have the content, and the title value will be post the title, and the content value will be post.content. So it is retrieved from the database. And then if you want to update, then you can just click this update. Now, you need to also give the functions into the JavaScript. In this case, this is the HTML, but we still need to access the JavaScript. How we can do with the JavaScript? There can be two functions, which is about the edit and update. So please separate those. The first part, I would like to check the edit. So the code below is on the edit section in your JavaScript file. So you can go to the script CRUD.js, and there are still remaining 3. So edit, I can put this one, and then I will explain a little bit later. And update, you can copy this code into the update section. Okay, what happened? If I refresh, I would like to edit. Oh, this is the 4th post information word. Let's say I put one word. Title equals to 4th post 1, and then the content is information word. So if I update, so it is updated. Now the name become 4th post 01. Okay. Now, if you take a look on this one, what is edit? When I click on the edit, so the ID will be the name. What does it mean? So when I click edit this part, when I click edit, the JavaScript, the AJAX will check whether this ID, I want to give the name into this variable. What is the name? So if it is click, okay, in the edit, the edit is in the view result. This one is the edit. Okay, we can check from this one. We have a class, and this class has a name of edit. And based on this edit, so the class edit, after I click the class edit, so I would like to give the name of the ID into this variable, and then I would like to go to the link of edit, and the link edit will be added with the ID. let's say if I want to edit, okay, you can see here, CRUD. If I edit this one, then there will be a new link, edit for. So edit for means this is the link, and then for is the ID. If you have those ID, edit the ID, so it means edit for. So yeah, you can do some editing. And after you have this editing, okay, let's say you want to update the title and then you want to update the content. So the idea is still the same with the create. As you can see, I want to check the value of the title. I want to check the value of the content and then put it into this variable. Okay, so it's the same with create. And then the next statement, it is about the requirement. Please complete the requirement. And the next is almost similar. Okay? It's almost similar. The only difference is now I have ID because I would like to update. So I will use this ID based on the post ID dot value. So the post ID is from the database in the server. I want to get the value and then put it into this ID. And then the AJAX will run the link. What is the link update? Okay, the link update means I want to go to this function update. So the update request comma ID, it will run according to the ID given, and then I will check the title and check the content, and it will be saved into the new title and the content. Okay. The type is still the same. It is post, and the data are also the same. We have title, content, and then we are using the CSRF middleware token in the Django. If it is successful, I would like to dot slash dot slash. Yeah. So this is not a song. Yeah, not that. This dot and dot. It means it is the folder before you access this one, or the page before you access this one. So there are two kind of pages. So we are moving backward, and then this one will show that your data has been updated. Okay. So this is the explanation. Okay. We are calling the values from the attribute name in the P result, and then we are going to the location of edit, and after that, yeah, we will, if the update button is clicked, then we will run as disclosed. Okay, and the last part is about the delete. Yeah. I think it's not that difficult, but let me finish shortly. Yeah. So the delete function, as you might know in the CRUD, we also need to have one delete function. We can get the object ID, and then we can just use the method delete. And then make one more path in the path delete. So we make one more path about the deletion, and we are going to delete a particular ID. And then in the delete section, let's copy and paste this part in the script CRUD. Okay. So you have a last one, which is about the delete. So you can paste here, and we are going to delete the ID. So this is the statement to delete the ID. So you can delete one instance. For example, I'm going to update this one too. update. Now it's been updated. Now you can see there is a delete button here. If I click the delete button, and it is deleted. And it does not refresh the data because it is using the AJAX or using the JavaScript. Okay, I think I will stop here.